Greetings, Duarte educators. This is Nadia Hillman. I will be sharing with you today a brief introduction to a comprehensive assessment system. I'd like to start by comparing the various types of assessments we use in education with those used by medical professionals. The purposes are very similar. Starting with a physical screening that establishes a baseline using basic tests for everyone. The doctor may take your blood pressure, listen to your heart and lungs, and checks your weight, etc. Then benchmark assessments for a doctor are those that are administered regularly to use a consistent measure to apply interventions or preventions before a more serious condition develops. For example, while all the other tests come out fine, your doctor determines that your blood pressure is a bit elevated. This assessment of your blood pressure indicates intervention strategies are recommended, such as changing your diet, exercise, meditation, etc. Your blood pressure is checked regularly to see if that intervention is working. And then that's the same concept as benchmark assessment in education. A diagnostic assessment might be ordered if the initial intervention isn't working. For example, a stress test is usually not ordered the first time elevated blood pressure is first noted. While I'm certainly not a medical doctor, the idea in education is that we monitor student learning with various strategies and respond appropriately based on our professional expertise using multiple measures. And these multiple measures make up a balanced assessment system, diagrammed here on this matrix. So moving from left to right, assessments move from formative purposes on the left to more summative purposes on the right. On the vertical axis, the assessments are more large scale on the top. Starting from the bottom, the scale would be more classroom focused. Starting at the classroom level, increase to the site or department level, and to the district and even state level. The classroom formative assessment strategies in the lower left quadrant represent all the work that you educators do every minute of your day. You are constantly adjusting your instruction based on student responses and those small-scale assessments. The same idea of adjusting instruction is applied to larger-scale assessments in the upper left quadrant. That's where you'll find benchmarks. Moving to the right side of the diagram, the assessments are more summative in nature. Large-scale accountability assessments, like SBAC, provide information after the teaching and learning is complete. Similarly, classroom summative assessments, such as semester grades and final exams, indicate a student's achievement once the teaching is complete as well. So benchmarks in Duarte will serve many different purposes. These are either required or recommended for all the reasons listed here. Some of them are plans that we have, some of them are not required, but all of them are important for many purposes. While it's true that benchmark assessments represent a key component of a balanced assessment system, the Duarte Unified MTSS Advisory Committee dug deeper into this concept to share their ideas around the purposes of using assessment data. This Jamboard represents the ideas of your colleagues across the district. The committee applied these purposes when selecting an assessment system that you'll be learning about today. Those are the STAR tests by Renaissance Learning. So when we have assessments, what do the results tell us? Derived from the input of the MTSS Advisory Committee brainstorm, here are the big ideas to keep in mind about benchmarks and what the results tell us. As a side note, I might mention that many of these ideas were formulated out of concern for determining the extent to which our students' learning was affected by the disruption caused by the pandemic. So the ideas here on the screen help plan instructional support activities, The results will give us a starting point for supporting student learning and identifying what skills a student is ready to learn. It's a fixed assessment that evaluates students on specific grade level standards and learning goals. It represents an identification of students' academic strengths and weaknesses and uses that information to guide future instruction and support success on later high-stakes assessments. It is important to note that benchmark assessments do not determine content mastery, but they could be a predictor of content mastery in some cases and/or a performance on state assessments. So today, you're going to be participating in training with the Renaissance trainers on how to administer the STAR test. You'll be divided by grade span based on the type of test that you'll be administering. We will be administering these tests 3 times a year, and you'll learn about the assessment process during their training today, which including the computer adaptive quality of this assessment, which really identifies a starting point for instructional planning and a baseline from which to grow. Throughout the year, after the assessments, time will be provided for teachers to analyze this data and collaborate around instructional planning. So what's next? There will be follow-up training with grade levels or departments on how to perform certain functions, such as how you can pull reports and what do these results actually tell me as a teacher? How do I utilize these results with students? And how do we have conversations about the data? So thank you for your attention today. And also thank you so much for all that you do for Duarte students. I hope you do have a wonderful day.